Most canary breeders are unknowingly living through a tragedy. You wake up, you see your favorite singer at the bottom of the cage, and you tell yourself it was just old age. But what if I told you that 5 years is not old age for a canary? What if I told you that most of these birds are dying because their internal organs are essentially rusting from the inside out? Today, I am going to reveal a biological breakthrough that the commercial bird food industry doesn't want you to understand. We are talking about the 3-ingredient superfeed secret that can realistically extend your canary's life by more than 5 additional years. I am Ruan, and this is Planet Birds, where we don't just show you what works, we explain exactly why it works based on the complex biology of the avian body. If you think a standard seed mix is enough, you are leaving your bird's health to chance. The first thing we must understand is the avian metabolic rate. A canary's heart beats up to 1,000 times per minute. This high-speed internal engine creates a massive amount of oxidative stress. In human terms, your canary is living life in the fast lane, and without the right biological fuel, their cellular integrity collapses long before it should. This is where the market gap in canary care exists. Everyone talks about song and color, but no one talks about cellular longevity. But here is where it gets weird. Most breeders think they are helping by giving their birds more protein or more vitamins, but they are actually overloading the liver. The liver is the most overworked organ in a bird's body. If the liver fails, the bird dies years before its time. That is why the first ingredient in our superfeed secret is not even a food in the traditional sense. It is a biological shield. I am talking about silymarin, the active extract from milk thistle seeds. Now, don't just run out and buy random seeds. You need to understand the science. Silymarin acts as a hepatoprotector. It stabilizes the cell membranes of the liver, preventing toxins from entering and actually stimulating protein synthesis to regenerate damaged liver tissue. In our Planet Birds methodology, we use a concentrated powdered form of silymarin mixed into a specific carrier. Why? Because the canary's liver is the filter for every synthetic pigment and high-fat seed you provide. By protecting the filter, you prevent the systemic inflammation that leads to early death. If you are finding this level of biological detail helpful, do me a quick favor and hit the like button. It tells the algorithm that science-based bird keeping is what the world needs more of. Now, let's move to the second ingredient, and this is the one that targets the cardiovascular system. Most canaries suffer from what we call hepatic lipidosis or fatty liver disease, often followed by arterial hardening. They eat too many carbohydrates and low-quality fats. To counter this and add years to their life, we introduce perilla seed, but specifically white perilla. This is the gold standard of avian nutrition that 90% of hobbyists ignore because of its cost. But here is the secret no one tells you. Perilla is exceptionally high in alpha-linolenic acid, a type of omega-3 fatty acid. These fatty acids are the building blocks of healthy cell membranes and are powerful anti-inflammatories. When a canary consumes the right ratio of omega-3 to omega-6, its plumage becomes more flexible, its skin more elastic, and most importantly, its arteries remain clear. This prevents the sudden strokes and heart failures that people mistake for old age. At Planet Birds, we advocate for perilla because the biology of the bird is designed to forage for high-energy, high-nutrient seeds, not the empty calories found in dusty store-bought boxes that have been sitting on a shelf for 6 months. You might be wondering, if these ingredients are so powerful, why isn't everyone using them? The answer is simple. The industry prioritizes shelf life over bird life. But you are here because you want the best for your feathered companions. You want them to sing not just for a few seasons, but for a decade or more. This brings us to our third and perhaps most mystical, but scientifically grounded ingredient, bee pollen. Wait, before you think this is just some natural gimmick, look at the biochemistry. Bee pollen contains over 250 biologically active substances, including proteins, carbs, lipids, vitamins, minerals, and, crucially, enzymes. Canaries in the wild don't just eat dry seeds, they consume live enzymes from various plant sources. A captive canary eating dry seeds is essentially eating dead food. By adding micronized bee pollen to the superfeed, you are reintroducing live enzymes into their digestive tract. This isn't just about nutrition, it's about bioavailability. It doesn't matter what you feed your bird if its gut can't absorb the nutrients. Bee pollen acts as a prebiotic and a natural growth promoter that strengthens the immune system at the bone marrow level. This is why it works. It allows the bird's body to maintain its telomeres, the caps on the ends of DNA strands that shorten as we age. Shorter telomeres mean faster aging. The antioxidants in bee pollen slow this process down significantly. I want to take a second to invite you to subscribe to Planet Birds. Our community is growing because we believe in the marriage of passion and science. If you want to master the art of bird keeping and move beyond the basic old wives' tales of the hobby, hit that subscribe button and join us. We are building a library of knowledge that puts the bird's biology first. Now, let's get into the how. You cannot just toss these three things in a bowl and expect magic. The dosage and the delivery method are where most people fail. To create the Planet Bird Superfeed, you need a base. We use a high-quality, egg-based soft food or farinhada as a vehicle. For every 500 grams of soft food, you will incorporate 10 grams of silimarin powder, 50 grams of white perilla, and 15 grams of pure ground bee pollen. The secret no one tells you about feeding is consistency versus intensity. You don't give this as a treat, you provide this consistently, especially during the molting and breeding seasons, when the metabolic demand is at its peak. When the bird is growing new feathers, its body is under immense strain. If you provide the silimarin to protect the liver during the pigment absorption, the perilla to provide the fats for feather elasticity, and the bee pollen to fuel the cellular repair, the bird emerges from the molt younger than it started. But there is a catch. If your water quality is poor, all of this is for nothing. High levels of chlorine or heavy metals in tap water can neutralize the beneficial enzymes in the bee pollen and put additional strain on the liver we are trying to protect. Always use filtered or rested water. Remember, everything we do is based on science and bird biology. We are trying to replicate an environment where the bird's body doesn't have to fight against its own fuel. Most breeders see their bird's health as a straight line that inevitably goes down. At Planet Birds, we see it as a curve that we can extend. By using this three-ingredient secret, you are addressing the three pillars of avian mortality: liver failure, cardiovascular decay, and immune exhaustion. When you solve these three, the bird's genetic potential for longevity is finally unlocked. I have seen canaries live to be 15, 16, even 18 years old using these methods. The 5-year-old canary is a myth created by poor nutrition and a lack of biological understanding. Think about the cost. A bag of cheap seed is cheap now, but the emotional cost of losing a bird early, or the cost of medicine when they get sick because their immune system is weak, is far higher. Investing in silimarin, perilla, and bee pollen is an insurance policy for your aviary. It's the difference between being a bird keeper and a bird master. As we wrap up, I want you to remember that the secret to a long-lived canary isn't found in a medicine bottle. It's found in the synergy of biology and daily care. You now have the blueprint for the superfeed that can change your aviary forever. But nutrition is only one piece of the puzzle. If you want to know how to set up the perfect environment to complement this diet and ensure your birds are thriving in every sense of the word, you need to watch my next video on the biological triggers of canary song and vitality. I'm Ruan, and this is Planet Birds, science in the service of your passion. See you in the next video.